two suicide bombs have killed at least 20 people in Baghdad and wounded dozens of others. It is the first major suicide attack in Baghdad in several years. So far today, no group has claimed responsibility. Well, our reporter Jack Hewsom is covering this story for us today from the Iraqi capital, and we can speak to him now. Jack, first of all, what do we know about where this took place and what happened?
Well, it took place in Tahrir Square, which is right in the center of Baghdad, not far from the famed Tahrir Square, where there's obviously been a lot of demonstrations over the last year, which you may be familiar with from various other reports. It's right in the center of Baghdad. Apparently the first suicide bomber rushed into this marketplace, very crowded place, claimed to feel sick so that people would gather around him, and then detonated his explosives. And as people gathered around the victims, a second attacker then detonated his bomb. So it's a kind of classic two-stage attack. The military spokesperson, Yahya Rasul, said that two suicide bombers had detonated their explosives while being pursued by security forces. So it's not clear if that was referring to those two suicide bombers or if there were two more additional perpetrators. So on these preliminary reports, it sounds like there could have been up to four perpetrators. So yes, at the moment the death toll is looking at there's more than 20 who have been killed and more than 40 who have been injured. But there are many numbers flying around, and these numbers could increase throughout the day. So very grisly scenes in central Baghdad.
Yeah, Jack, and you've covered Iraq for several years now. How unusual is an attack like this in the center of the Iraqi capital?
Well, it is rare now. After, in the 2000s, the sectarian meltdown then led to many of these kinds of attacks. Baghdad was reduced to essentially a war zone struck by this sectarian violence, often perpetrated by Sunni Islamist groups. But since then, those Sunni extremists have been largely pushed out of the capital, and Baghdad is a Shiite stronghold. And it has been relatively well secured for most of the last decade. ISIS never got here during their rout of the country. And so seeing these sorts of numbers is a relatively rare event. The last time it took place was in June 2019. Several were killed, and the last time it hit actually the same location, Tahrir Square, was in January 2018 when more than 30 people were killed. But as I say, yes, it is now relatively rare and a worrying development.
Worrying development indeed. Jack Hewsom, thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to speed. We'll check in with you throughout the day as we watch those developments in the Iraqi capital. Now back